Let's talk concerts. As someone who has personally been victimized by Ticketmaster on multiple occasions, including the recent Taylor Swift fiasco, I think it's safe to say that I've had my fair share of concert experiences, and I have so much to say about concerts and how much I love them, and also how much I wish some things were different about them. For those who are new here, hi, my name is Liesl, and to be honest, there really wasn't a reason why I chose to do this video in 2023, considering the title is literally 2022 concert review. But I decided to share my take on the concerts that I was able to go to last year. And to me real fast, disclaimer, these are all my own opinions. Please do not come for me if I tell you that I went to one of your faves concerts and I did not like it that much. Again, take this with a grain of salt. Also, while I was filming this, I didn't realize how long this would be, considering I also didn't consider that I'm talking about like multiple shows in one video. So in the description below, I'll put time markers for when I'm talking about specific shows if you are interested in looking into whether or not these shows are worth attending. So to begin, 2022 was the year for me that K-pop became my personality trait. I also want to say that 2022, in my opinion, was definitely the real return of concerts as the world continues to open up. Was it a perfect system? No. But it was sustainable enough for people to return to large venues and to be able to share in the experience of enjoying music together again. So, as I mentioned, K-pop. My first major concert of 2022 was Twice when they came through Atlanta. And let me tell you, it was a hassle to get these tickets. And being only a casual fan of Twice up until the concert, these tickets were more of a Christmas present for my little sister. And the day these tickets were released was the exact same day Olivia Rodrigo tickets were being released on Ticketmaster. So considering all of those factors, you can imagine which tickets I was able to get that very day. That's not where I stopped spending money on Twice for tickets that year. At the show itself, long story short, I was scammed out of one ticket, and that left a very yucky feeling in my stomach to the point where, out of the adrenaline of that feeling and the event itself, I decided to upgrade our seats to lower bowl seats. So the question of the matter is, was Twice worth it? And for me, as a non-bias and hockey and OT non-bias, Twice set the standard for shows in 2022. And that's because despite where you sat, whether it was towards the stage, lower bowl, upper bowl, or even the nosebleeds, Twice was able to captivate the audience with their performances and their stage presence. The length of the show also made it worth it because it ran for about 2.5 hours, and that also included an encore stage where, depending on the show you went to, the girls would sing up to 2, even 5 songs. So it felt like every single dollar that I put into trying to see Twice in the end was worth it. My next major concert of the year was Justin Bieber. Now, I only planned on seeing Justin Bieber because I was doing it for the sole purpose of celebrating my best friend's birthday, as well as her and my other friend's graduation that year. And as a believer from Justin's early days, I was really excited to potentially hear some of the nostalgic bops like Baby, One Less Lonely Girl. But obviously, because I knew that Justin had released a lot more music since then, I did my homework. And securing tickets for this show wasn't that hard because a lot of the tickets that were on sale at the time I was looking for tickets were resale tickets because this show was rescheduled, I want to say because of COVID. Now, the question is, was the show worth it? And to be honest, if you are a major hardcore Justin Bieber fan, I believe the show is definitely worth it. But for me, it wasn't a show that I was really prioritizing and wanting to see. And that was also contributing to some of my criticisms of the stages. Specifically this one stage where Justin was playing the piano between 2 platforms, and being in the nosebleeds and kind of the upper bowl, it was hard for a lot of fans to see him unless you were staring at the big screen. And for the most part, the dancers kind of helped bring and tie together the stage presence of Justin as the performer that he is. It was also really, again, as a believer from Justin's early career, I had such a blast hearing Baby live for the first time ever. and being able to share that with two of my closest friends made the experience worth it. My next show that year was Olivia Rodrigo. Now, as I mentioned before, that very day, Twice tickets were also released. So it was a fun time trying to get tickets, but for me, this is the only time Ticketmaster blessed me with a pre-sale code. And anyone who gets pre-sale codes has earlier access to tickets, which helped defeat a lot of pain that I know a lot of fans experience with demand for her show. So having the pre-sale code allowed me to get into the queue super fast and allowed me to get tickets for a good price, which was around the $40 range, minus fees. And it made me feel a lot better because when I was going through Olivia Rodrigo Twitter, right after the shows had sold out, people were reselling these tickets for $500 and more. This was my first general admission show and also my first time going to Chicago. So we had to line up super early and we got there by 4 o'clock and the doors opened at 8, but the line to get inside was already around the building, down multiple blocks. Luckily for us though, even though we got there 3 hours before the show started, we still got a pretty good viewpoint of Olivia and Gracie. At the show itself, I got merch including a matching tracksuit. It's just a fun piece of clothing to have, as well as a shirt and a tote bag. A fun little fact, I was given an extra sweater for free at Olivia's concert. 2 hoodies. So my sister got really lucky. Now, the question of the hour, was Olivia Rodrigo's show worth it? Yes. As a hardcore Olivia Rodrigo fan, through her appearances in High School Musical, the musical, the series, as well as her Sour album drop, I believe for the price, it was definitely worth it. And although I did have to fly out to another location just for my own schedule and for my friends' schedules, Chicago made it that much more worth it to have that experience of visiting Chicago for the first time and also seeing Olivia for the first time. So her set really lasted for like an hour and a half. But to fill that first bit, she had Gracie Abrams, and Gracie was the perfect fit. While being a smaller but more established artist with a more established fan base, because Gracie has been touring and has been releasing music for a long time, both newer fans and established fans were definitely immersed in the music that Gracie performed for us. And she had a lot of fan interactions with the crowd, which is so nice to have. And Olivia also followed in the same suit with many fan interactions throughout the show and also being patient when people in the crowd were passing out, which happens a lot at general admission shows. And also, her setlist overall definitely fit the theme of the album that she released and gave her credibility as a performer. My next show was a show that I decided very last minute to go to, and I ended up planning to go by myself because this performer was coming to SF for 2 days, and my friend wanted to go with me to the second day, but I bought tickets for the first day. This was for Niki from 88 Rising and Paravi. As a big fan of Niki's music, it was a good concert that lined up with my life events. But when I was looking for tickets last minute, the resale was a little higher and into the $80 to $90 range. This was my second general admission show, so I learned from the first time that I should probably get there a little bit earlier. I got to the venue around 5 and 6 p.m. and the doors ended up opening later at 8. At the show, I met one of my now good friends, Emily, who we started talking because I think we accidentally awkwardly bumped into each other while we were standing on the hill in the back alley waiting to go inside. Meeting somebody when you're going to a show by yourself relieves the stress of having to watch for yourself and worry about yourself when you have someone else there who's there with you. At this show, I didn't get any merch because I was already planning to go see Niki when she came to North Carolina because my boyfriend got tickets as a birthday gift for me. So I just prioritized being as close to stage as possible. So, was Niki's show worth it? As a listener from when Low Key was released and went viral on TikTok, yes. It was similar to the format of Olivia's show where there was an opener kind of for the first half and then the headliner for the remainder of the show. For Niki, for this show, Paravi, who is an artist that went viral for her cover of... Besides Paravi, Niki definitely brought the energy that night to the show and the crowd returned it, which I absolutely love because the interaction between the artist and the crowd allows the show to just have so much more energy, so much more joy and excitement. And at times, you could barely hear Niki singing because the crowd was that loud. So my next show was another show that I decided to go very last second in the day after Niki, Lauv. Now, this show I actually ended up seeing by myself and I wasn't able to meet anyone the same way I met Emily at Niki. And I decided to take a Lyft during rush hour over the Oakland Bridge to Berkeley, which is a very, very long time. I secured this ticket within the $60 to $70 range for a resale ticket, which is pretty good, and I want to say that's due to the concert being on UC Berkeley's campus. This was my third general admissions concert, but for this, the Greek theater was set up to where people could pick where they wanted to be. So there was a standing GA pit where people would stand and kind of just wait as the openers came along. There was a part where people would sit, a lower bowl section, and there was a theater seating area. For me, because I got there relatively early to Lauv coming on, I sat kind of in the lower bowl and I was able to see him at a good distance from the crowd. Now, was this show worth it? As a longtime listener to Lauv, 100% yes. I have been dying to see Lauv perform ever since his release of I Like Me Better, which has been a long time coming. And similar to the energy of the Niki concert, the crowd matched his energy on stage. And again, we sang songs sometimes louder than he did, and Lauv was definitely taken away by the energy. For his stage, he utilized the stage enough to create a general plotline of the songs that he performed throughout the night. And I will 1000% see him again just to experience singing these songs by myself. Next concert, you can tell a show is worth it if I'm willing to see the same concert twice in the same year, which again was Niki when Niki stopped by in Charlotte. And as I mentioned, these tickets were a surprise from my boyfriend. In addition to seeing Niki, I was super excited because for this leg of her tour, she had Sundial opening for her. And Sundial is a musical duo on TikTok that my boyfriend and I both discovered after the song 24 went viral. We met up with some of my friends and we were the first people in line for the show, which made me that much more excited to be that much closer to the stage. In line, we actually bought last minute fast pass tickets to be the first group in after VIP. We were literally up against the right side of the stage, up against the barrier. So was this show worth it? As I mentioned before, if I'm willing to see an artist twice in a year, yes, this show is definitely worth it. Especially with the opener Sundials, which made me enjoy the show that much more. Being closer to the stage helped with a lot of fan interactions that I had with both Niki and Sundial. And I will say the only difference between both the SF and the Charlotte show was the crowd energy, but still a very enjoyable experience. My last concert of the year, I feel like definitely was the cherry on top to all of the concerts that I was able to go to last year. And it happened to be Blackpink. This tour was highly anticipated and the tickets were really tough to find, especially at a lower price considering how popular Blackpink is now. But in terms of finding resale ticket prices, I want to say that this one was probably one of my proudest moments because I was able to find a really good deal on tickets. So Blackpink had been on a hiatus for the last more than two, for the past 2 years. Their announcement of their tour definitely sent shockwaves all over the world. I was looking for tickets for their Atlanta show, and only a couple weeks before their concert was I able to find floor general admission tickets for $175. And this was even lower than the tickets my friends who were going the exact same day in a different section bought their tickets for. Although this was a GA show and you're thinking maybe I should be getting there super early so I can kind of get closer to the stage, I have my little sister with me and she's never been to a GA show before, so I figured I wasn't going to prioritize lining up super early or trying to get to the venue even super early, but instead float towards the back, towards the open space on the floor. Now, was this show worth it? In my opinion, as a long time Blink, I was so excited to see Blackpink for the first time in my life. Yes, this show was definitely worth it. The show was similar to the way I described the Twice show, where there was a strong stage presence, not only by the girls themselves, but by their backup dancers, and they utilized their entire stage in order to put on an amazing show. Even though I was towards the back of the floor, At points, I was kind of like towards the end of the catwalk, and I swear that I got interactions with Lisa, Jisoo, and Jennie, which I kid you not, every 5 minutes I kept sitting there like, oh my god, I'm literally in their presence. Like they're literally right there on stage. Another thing that people don't talk about is just the back area of the floor. And although it's really nice to be really close to the performer in stages and venues like this, what made it special was that I was able to sing and dance with my little sister the entire time without anyone bothering us or being pressed up against someone else that we just didn't know. And the energy that the crowd brought definitely matched the girls as they were interacting with us. So, as you can tell, 2022 was definitely the year of music and shows for me. Giving myself those new experiences that I haven't been able to give myself as a fangirl. And although the state of the economy isn't the best at the moment, I can really only hope and dream that this year can live up to the experiences that I got to experience last year. With all of that, thank you guys for watching and thank you all for being here. So I will see you guys next time. Bye. This almost felt like a podcast if I'm honest, because I talk so much for so